Good YouTube, it's your boy Kevo back again with another video. Appreciate it for clicking on my video. Let's go.
For this video,
how y'all doing today, man?
On Rick Ross, the self-proclaimed kingpin, but actual former corrections officer.
I know, I can already see from here, from where I'm at.
What?
It's a total fraud. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even no issue.
Damn.
But I paid for the transcripts to your court case.
Trick Daddy recently accused you of working as a prison guard at one point, Rick. Is there any truth to that?
No, that's not true. But that's disappointing to hear that he said that. He said that?
Like you did 10 years in jail, right? Yeah. How you think about the whole Rick Ross thing, him being a correctional officer and dealing with correctional officers?
Wow. Fake niggas get taped up and sent back. Use a fake nigga, you makes up a good act.
Now I know you.
That nigga snapping.
I think it's fair to say, I know you now.
Was Rick Ross in his lifetime a corrections officer?
Rick Ross done did it all to get money. I done did it all except set dudes up, dudes behind.
Why you gonna lie? Y'all remember? I remember when they were talking about Rick Ross was a CEO or whatever. I was a kid, man.
I'm boss, and that's what's important to me.
Pictures turn up of you online.
I'm getting old, man.
Or a person that looks like you online.
That is that nigga.
As a correctional officer. Is that? I mean, not Rick Ross in those pictures?
That was me in the photos. I'm the truth when your truths just pretend. I hear lies in every one of your lines with no flow or mind. Magnified times 5. You lost, I'm Ross.
Now bullets are flying in hip hop.
Oh yeah, he stole the nigga name.
Back disses are being dropped and shots keep getting fired.
He was like Rick
At
Ross.
At this point, it seems
man,
like
I can
Drake
steal
versus
that.
everybody, but one person in particular is Rick Ross would drop an immediate response to Drake's diss, but that isn't what's got my attention. Ross would keep dissing through Instagram and referring to Drake as a white boy, as if that's an insult. Well, now you got a white boy's attention. Apparently everybody forgot the biggest boss of Miami, the hustler who knew Pablo and Noriega, the man who thinks he's Big Meech, Larry Hoover. Everybody forgot he was a fucking CO.
I ain't gonna lie, I forgot.
This isn't new news. Back in 2008, pictures would be released of Ross in uniform, and he'd speak exclusively with all hip-hop stating, "My life is 100% real. These online hackers putting a picture of my face when I was a teenager in high school on other people's body."
What?
If this was real, don't you think they would have more specifics, like dates and everything? So a then 32-year-old Ross claimed the pic was photoshopped, his kingpin lifestyle was real, and there was no proof behind the CO allegations.
Dang.
Well, a media website by the name of The Smoking Gun would send in a public records request receiving 86 pages from the Florida Department of Corrections about Officer Ricky's short career. A photo of William Roberts, aka Rick Ross's State of Florida application, would state he received his diploma from Miami Carroll City High and went on to Albany State University to study criminal justice. On his supplementary application, he'd state his nickname was Big East and denied knowing anyone in prison, along with never working in prison or in law enforcement. Now, with every new recruit, the Department of Corrections wants to know how willing you are to complete your correctional duties. Ross would check off he's willing to work rotating shifts, carry a firearm, and work with violent inmates, homosexuals, etc. He'd also state he's willing to shoot an inmate who's attempting to escape, body search a male or female inmate, and write an incident report. In 1995, Ross would take an oath of loyalty to support the Constitution.
I mean, in reality, bruh, I heard CEOs make a lot of money. And then they can make money under the table. But I heard they be doing some bad stuff too. You feel me? But rapping about something that you know what I'm saying? That you lived a totally different life before you started rapping about this. Like, I don't know, bro.
And would receive a letter stating he's now officially a correctional officer.
That's why I ain't never rap about that. I ain't never did, nigga. Simple.
5 months later, it was now 1996, and Ross would receive an award for completing 540 hours of basic training. Ross was now an official corrections officer.
540 hours?
Picture at his graduation.
Nah. 540 hours with my phone. 540 divided by 8. Yeah, it gets 67.5. So that's like a little over 2 months. I just put 8 hours in, you know what I'm saying? But about too much.
Hours of basic training. Ross was now an official.
It just sounds long when you say 540.
Taking a picture at his graduation ceremony. 4 months later, he'd receive a certificate of appreciation for perfect attendance from the same woman he could be seen
it's your job.
With
it's your job.
Ceremony.
You gotta be
Eventually,
there.
all good things must come.
I wonder
to
how
an
much
end.
they was paying.
And in June of 1997, Ricky Rose sent in a resignation letter and officially.
Yo, that's my birthday. My 1-year-old birthday, he got this letter. When I was 1 year old, living my 1-year-old life, this nigga was in Florida. Getting, what is this? I don't even know what this I just got tripped out because of my birthday. But shout out Kevin, man. My birthday coming soon. I'm about to be 28. Oh my God.
Left the force. But like I said,
this
isn't new news. This came out back in 2008, and 50 Cent started calling Ross Officer Ricky in 2009.
Oh,
that
damn.
same year, Rick Ross would admit to XXL it was in fact him in the pictures. He'd state, "Me not answering or addressing that situation has nothing to do with my career. I've accomplished enough and I've made enough money for me to be good.
Dang.
Yes, it was me in those pictures, but I'm gonna tell you this. Me taking that job, I was doing my job. You understand what I mean?" He'd continue on saying the stuff he talks about is real, dope is real, and the gun talk is official.
That nigga should have put it in the song before it came out. That's what he should have did. So then when niggas was like, hold on. Shit, I put it in. You know what I'm saying? You put it out first. Tight, you feel me? Damn.
When exactly
what y'all think? Comment down below.
Streets, serving bricks. In an interview with the Full Send podcast, the alleged kingpin was asked about his time.
I ain't gonna pause it no more, bro.
I
got y'all. Y'all know y'all like that. Hey, nigga, shut up.
You were a correctional officer at one point?
I was, yeah.
So going all the way back. When was that? How long ago?
Maybe when I was 20.
20 years old?
Yeah.
What kind of people were in there?
You know, I didn't really get to make it to the prison.
What?
Because you got to go through training and all that.
Oh, he said he
right. I may have last 4 months.
Right.
Before they said I.
Why this nigga lying, bro?
I was a little tardy.
Now Ross only worked the job for 4 months and never made it to a real prison because he didn't even complete training from being tied.
Nigga, you had perfect attendance award.
This is the same Ross that received a certificate of appreciation for never missing a day. He'd work as a CO for 18 months at the South Florida Reception Center.
I cranked myself up, nigga.
This was the first stop for any inmate entering the prison system from Miami, Broward.
I just tried to defend this nigga. This nigga go lie.
This was very much prison.
I wouldn't even defend it. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I'm trying to brighten my horizon.
Elderly inmates to death, or when 11 inmates died from COVID. But still, Rick Ross got a pass because even if he never sold drugs a day in his life, the music sounded good enough to forget it.
Man, these rappers be fake, bro. We already know this, bro. Tell us all them niggas, fake laws, fake whatever. Tell us something we don't know.
Apparently in 2008, the same year the pictures were released, Rick Ross was arrested on gun and marijuana charges.
Man, if a beat sound good, the song got me. I ain't gonna lie. The song got me. If a beat, it don't matter what song. I think that's why I like all music. But if the beat fire, I don't trust these rappers, man. I ain't gonna lie. I don't believe them, you know what I'm saying? Why should you even believe them anyway? I mean, I don't know. Because I don't be learning my music, but I don't know, bro. If it sounds good, it's just music to me. It's just entertainment. I ain't never really cared too much what rappers did in their personal life until I started making reactions.
The investigation would be assigned to the Gang Unit Task Force, and transcripts would state the Gang Unit was given the case because
we about to finish the video, man. I ain't gonna pause it no more.
City Cartel. Now, Triple C, according to Wikipedia, was a hip-hop group founded by Rick Ross in 2005. Named after the Carroll City neighborhood of Miami, the group featured Rick Ross, Gunplay, Torch, and Young Breed. The transcripts would mention YouTube, and Ross didn't shy away from his cartel affiliation because it wasn't an actual cartel. The transcripts would also reveal this was actually Ross's first arrest as an adult at 32 years old. So technically speaking, you're not a criminal until you get caught.
How old is that nigga?
And Ross was never caught
that
until
nigga about
after
50?
his career already blew up. Aside from marijuana, Ross wouldn't be arrested for anything serious until 2017, when him and his former security guard kidnapped a landscaper by forcing him into a room and pistol whipping him. Ross would plea out to lesser charges as a first-time offender and completing probation.
I've been trying to drink
so
more
maybe
water, bro.
Ross was just too smart to get caught with any bricks. Going back to his interview,
I didn't
Ross
salad
stated
today,
he got his job in
nigga. I'm drinking
corrections
water, nigga.
after his big homie got in trouble and suggested it.
What made you want to do that?
One of my big homies had just got in trouble, and a lot of things were going on, and he just suggested it.
You fuck with it or no?
Nah, I didn't. Anything you gotta really do, and you fucking running and jogging and
yeah,
all of that shit, man.
The big homie Ross was referring to is none other than Kenneth Boobie Williams. Boobie was the leader of the Boobie Boys, an infamous murderous drug gang that terrorized Miami in the 90s. Law enforcement officials would state they built a drug empire that smuggled 5 tons and $85 million worth of cocaine across 25 Florida cities and 12 states from 1990 to 1998. The gang was blamed for 35 murders, and when they were all indicted, the shootings and murder rate literally dropped in 4 of Miami's worst neighborhoods. According to a Street Stories article, the Boobie Boys reached national attention through Rick Ross, who rose to fame in hip-hop's cocaine era, when everybody was rapping about cocaine and selling it. He'd introduced the world to Miami's underworld by wearing a Boobie Boys t-shirt, naming members in his songs, and speaking of them in multiple interviews.
When I talk about yayo, when I talk about streets, body counts, that's where I really come from, you know what I'm saying? I came up in Carol City, the heart of Miami, and just so happened in my generation, we had a good friend of ours by the name of Kenneth Boobie Williams, who was featured on America's Most Wanted in 1999. You understand? And he was accused for over 200 homicides and running an $80 million enterprise.
An anonymous person would speak with the Miami New Times back in 2008 over the correction officer controversy. He'd state, "Ross ain't no fake cat. He's always been savvy in my experiences crossing paths with him way back in the day." Ross ran with the Boobie Boys, who were among the top 5 gangsters down here in Miami in the mid-90s. When Boobie Boys leader Kenneth Boobie Williams got snatched by the feds, they also snatched several Miami-Dade police officers as well because they were on Boobie's payroll. Now Ross wasn't no kingpin himself, but close enough, because he ran with some real hustlers that touched major work. Streetwise, Rick Ross's back is against the wall. He can't really elaborate on everything because Boobie is still dealing with the federal case right now on appeal. The streets know that when Ross was a CO, he was working for Boobie on a mission. Now this story would coincide with what Ross said on his Full Send interview, but we don't even know who said it because the person was anonymous and could have been Rick Ross himself or a member of his team. Reading between the lines, this dude was alleging Ross got a job as a CO to work for Boobie in prison, and Boobie was a notorious drug gang leader. But the timelines don't even add up. Ross started working in prison in 95 and resigned in 97. The same year some of the Boobie Boys got locked up. Then the feds indicted 15 of them in 1999. Ross's so-called big homie never even made it to Florida State Prison and would end up in the feds, meaning Ross never came across him while working in state prison. Another anonymous person claiming to be the baby mother of one of the Boobie Boys stated Ross was never a Boobie Boy, and never a dope boy either. Everyone connected to Kenneth Boobie Williams was arrested, and Ross only went to high school with some of the members. She would claim Boobie was an inmate at the South Florida Reception Center before going to prison when he recognized Rick Ross and thought he'd be beneficial. But even her story doesn't make sense, as Boobie doesn't show up in the Florida Department of Corrections offender search. So yet again, another story that can't be proven by another anonymous source. Whether or not Ross promoted the Boobie Boys to give himself a more street appearance, Ross would skyrocket into stardom and rise to legendary status in the state of Florida. Because of that, nobody really gives a fuck if Ross's whole persona was fake because he still made it. But apparently Ross does because he responded to me on Instagram. Now, I made a post about him lying over how much time he actually did working in prison, and he'd respond in a series of Instagram posts stating I'm a rat. He'd show my mugshot in one post and in another a statement. The statement would read, the suspect, Cherry, made several spontaneous statements. He stated that the gun was in his friend Alex's room.
Man, look at that nigga house
Under the green shirt.
He
stated that he was shooting the gun in the middle of the street and that he is sorry. He stated he found it in a vacant house that he was using to piss in. He saw a shiny object and reached down and found the gun. Now, Rick Ross would at me, putting multiple rat emojis while adding Drake saying, "White boy, who next?" He'd then make another post writing the same thing. Now, since Ross added me, I now had the ability to DM him, so I sent him a voice message back.
Oh yeah, you played, Officer Ricky, you played. I saved my homie people from getting jammed up before they went inside the house and found that gun and took them off Section 8. I blew that pistol, that was my case. You played though. I ain't wake up and put a badge on, you did.
Now, whoever decided to send that to Ross didn't send him the other 25 pages detailing what actually took place and how I admitted I fired the gun and the gun was mine to keep anyone else from being charged. Ross would make another post to Instagram, once again mentioning me.
You got your minions. What's the other white boy name? 1090. He looked like a fucking wet little whale flapping. Shut up. Get mind your business, peon. Man, apologize.
Truth is, me and Drake have no ties and have never spoke, but he'd follow me on the gram shortly after Ross's little tirade. I myself was surprised Ross was so quick to respond to his CO past, as he's changed the story so many times and added new twists, alleging he was pushing weight in prison. But apparently it still strikes a nerve almost a decade later to see himself in that uniform. And like I told Officer Ricky, he's the one that decided to wake up and put on a badge.
I know you know Noriega. The real Noriega. Oh shit, Ricky's friends outside. You hit him? There they go. Oh man, Ricky's crew. He said he got a $2 million crew in New York City. He was talking about the NYPD.
Now I know, like y'all know, everybody got favorites, and it seems that once you reach a certain level of superstardom or money, nobody really gives a fuck anymore about what used to be or what never happened. Nobody's gonna care if you never sold dope. Nobody's gonna care if you whatever, because you already made it, right? Fake it till you make it. It works out how it works out. I couldn't even find a picture of Rick Ross and Boobie together. Maybe I just didn't recognize dude or whatever, but I couldn't even find a picture of them together. It was all just Ross shouting out his big homie who he ran with, but Ross was never tied into none of the shit that was going on. He was investigated as being a member of the Carroll City Cartel, but obviously they saw he wasn't doing shit except making music, and there was nothing to get Ross on. I refuse to believe he's the smartest criminal. Everybody always says that shit like, oh, I didn't get caught. But all the major guys get caught. Or at least get investigated by the feds, right? Maybe you get lucky enough to beat that shit. But everybody else is getting caught. Now, Rick Ross, when he blew up, it was around the time of everyone rapping about cocaine. It fit the scene. He took off with it. He was the one from Miami that did it. Cool. Come to find out, he was a fucking CO, which is crazy. Because at the end of the day, you know, you got a lot of people arguing, oh, but the COs are the ones that bring us the drugs, and they give us this, and they give us that. They're also the ones that walk in, tell you to hang up on the phone. They don't care if it's your mother, your girlfriend, your kid. It's time to lock down. Imagine Rick Ross walking around, lock down, chow, Chow. Imagine that. That's a CO. I don't give a fuck how much dope they're bringing you because they're putting somebody else in cuffs, taking them to confinement. And this is a fun fact for everybody that's been to prison. You know this is true, especially in the state of Florida. When you get a job there, it's mandatory. Your sergeant is gonna press you to put inmates in confinement and write DIs on them. They wanna see that you're actively doing your job, which is fucking with the inmates. So there's no way that you're in there moving dope, flipping this, selling that, not putting a bunch of other people away. Because the ones that are really moving shit, they're putting the most people away to cover up their tracks. Makes sense, right? If you're selling dope in prison, you're not locking anyone up, you're gonna look a little bit fucking suspicious. So while this guy might be serving you, he's fucking somebody else over. But to be honest with you, none of the shit about him serving anything in prison made any sense to me, because you went to college for criminal justice, you got a job inside of a prison, and then you resigned before everyone you knew went into prison. And the thing is, you were working at a reception center, so even if Boobie got sent there, he'd only be there for about 6 weeks until he got transferred off to a major institution. That's just how reception works. You don't stay there. But let me know y'all's thoughts and opinions. I mean, why is he still lying about how much time he actually worked in the Florida Department of Corrections if he's so big it can't even stain his career? Make that make sense. It's 1090 Jake.
Damn, that's junk crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I kind of look at Ross different now. Damn, man. It's your boy Kev. If you like me watching stuff like that, man, all you gotta do is subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Drop a like to show your support. And I appreciate y'all. I'm out.